Meta's 2023 gaming showcase was their biggest one yet, delivering nearly an hour of trailers for new games, including multiple titles we didn't know about, exciting updates for existing games, and surprisingly interviews with multiple VR content creators like VR Jasmine, A Wolf in VR, and Gamertag VR, just to name a few. I'll leave a link to the full showcase below, but if you don't have the time to watch all 75 minutes of it, you're in the right place. In this video, we're recapping the Meta Gaming Showcase, going over what we saw and what we didn't see. As I go through these games, most of them are listed on the Meta Store as coming soon, so unless I say otherwise, assume we'll see these games sometime within the next year. The pre-show kicked off with No More Rainbows. This first-person platformer casts you as a clawed beast from the underworld, bounding around the colorful world and absolutely shredding adorable little creatures. If you've never played the demo on Steam or App Lab before, you actually move yourself around this world using your arms for locomotion, similar to games like Knock or Gorilla Tag. No More Rainbows is available on the Meta Store now for $19.99. Peaceful City Simulator Little Cities VR has received an update to add hand tracking to the game. Now you can put your controller away and use your hands to build the city of your dreams. There's also new DLC coming in June to add a sandbox mode. Death Game Hotel is an anime-style tabletop gambling game where in addition to betting with chips, you can gamble your own body parts. There are cheats built into the game, but given your avatar's movement will mirror your own, that's not really advised. There's a full tournament-based single-player campaign and multiplayer modes as well. Death Game Hotel will release later this year, and I couldn't help but notice the Oculus publishing tag right at the end. That came up several times. Ghost Signal Stellaris game was already released in March, so I found it odd that it was featured here, even on the pre-show. This roguelike space-based combat game features an upgrade system, a full story campaign, and an endless mode featuring randomly generated maps to keep you on your toes. It's available now for $19.99. One of VR's best games, Walkabout Mini Golf, is about to get a wave of new updates. First, a new DLC course based on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea on June 8th, a new series of courses called Evil Lairs, and a Pocket Edition for iOS that will be cross-play with the Quest platform. So finally, your friends who don't have VR headsets can join in on the fun. Walkabout Mini Golf is $14.99, with each new DLC course costing an additional $3 to $4. No Sim Shooter Onward, developed by Meta-owned studio Downpour Interactive, is getting a massive update this summer, adding new weapon customizations, new weapons, multiple new gameplay modes like Uplink, Escort, and Hunt, and more realistic player hand signals and movements. This update will be available on Quest later this summer. Outward currently costs $28.99. Demeo Battles is a spin-off of Resolution Games' popular tabletop card-based dungeon crawler. This was originally intended to be an additional mode within the original Demeo game. Resolution recently announced battles will be a separate game on their Discord. Select your favorite characters plus a few select monsters and do battle with your friends in 1v1 or 2v2 battles. Demeo Battles is listed as coming soon. We Are One graduates from the App Lab to the main Meta Store. This unique shooter sees you creating clones of yourself to systematically eliminate enemies in advance. It's like one of my favorite games of last year, The Last Clockwinder, only with weapons. We Are One is available now for $19.99. Powerwash Simulator, a beloved flat screen game, is getting a VR port sometime in 2023. Anything with the name Simulator in it seems to do really well in VR, so with this game's popularity, I don't expect anything different here. That was it for the pre-show, and from here on out, Ruth Graham took us through the main show. Earlier in the day, Mark Zuckerberg officially announced the Meta Quest 3 for later this year via Instagram. I have a video breaking down that announcement that I will link in the description. Ruth also reiterated that every game on this showcase will be playable on both Quest 2 and Quest 3. Samba de Amigo comes to VR from Sega. This rhythm action game originally released in arcades in 1999 and on Sega Dreamcast in 2000. The game is available for pre-order now for $29.99, and if you pre-order, you get custom touch controller maracas and a Quest 2 headset accessory. I Expect You to Die 3, The Cog in the Machine, was announced by Shell Games earlier this year. This series has some of the best puzzle escape room games in VR, and incredible James Bond style intros that set the mood perfectly. I love the first two games and can't wait to play the third. Shell Games also unveils Silent Slayer: Vault of the Vampire. This is a stealth action game where you have to sneak up on and kill vampires. The trailer doesn't so much, but can I just say I'm glad this game exists? I'm so burned out on killing zombies, and I'm looking forward to fighting a different supernatural creature. We've known about Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord since Mark Zuckerberg first announced it at last year's gaming showcase. Here we get a story trailer detailing the origins of the Ghost Lord, the villain of the game. Apparently he was originally an understudy to the original Ghostbusters team, and he left in exile to San Francisco to unleash ultimate evil. We didn't get a release date for the game, only that is coming this fall, but we were treated to some actual gameplay footage as opposed to the PC rendered images from the earlier trailer. Underdogs is a cel-shaded mech arena battle game. I'm all for this one. I jokingly call this Rock'em Sock'em VR, but jokes aside, first-person mech games are a great fit for virtual reality. I really enjoyed both Vox Machina and World of Mechs, so this should be a welcome addition later this year. NFL Pro Era, the first officially licensed VR NFL game, will get a full roster update and expanded multiplayer where you can pit your created teams against other players and other vaguely promised new modes and gameplay mechanics. We didn't even see any gameplay or trailers for this, it was just the CEO talking about it. Racket Club is the latest multiplayer offering from the studio I deem the king of multiplayer VR games, Resolution Games. The trailer was all pre-alpha footage, so there wasn't much to take away from this, but Resolution is the studio I trust to make quality games. Demeo, Ultimex, Cookout, and Acron are mainstays in my VR gaming rotation. Vampire the Masquerade Justice was surprisingly our second vampire game of the showcase. This stealth action game from Fast Travel Games has you playing as a vampire in Venice, Italy, navigating a dark narrative. This looks right up my alley, and I'll be looking for it later this year. Dungeons of Eternity is a randomly generated dungeon crawler for up to 3 players. Survive as long as you can in multiple gameplay modes, then level up and do it all over again. The closest thing we have to this is PCVR's Legendary Tales, a game I enjoyed even though it was fairly limited and never left early access. Going all the way back to the 1990s, Vertigo Games is porting 1993's The Seventh Guest to VR. This eerie mystery sees you exploring a creepy mansion, solving puzzles to unlock new rooms, and uncover the game's haunted story. Vertigo is also working on Arizona Sunshine 2. This was previously announced as Sony's gaming showcase for PSVR 2, and now it's confirmed to be coming to Quest. The first game is one of the OG zombie shooters, and to this day is still heavily played in virtual reality arcades. If you're not burned out on zombies like I am, get ready for another trip to the desert later this year. Netflix's Stranger Things is one of the most popular shows in the world. A VR game was announced months ago, and in this showcase we finally get a trailer. You play as Vecna, the main antagonist of the series. The comic book style animation reminded me of the underrated VR horror game Lies Beneath. That's a compliment, by the way, and Lies Beneath had incredible visuals. I've never watched Stranger Things, so I'm less excited for this than other people, but I recognize how strong that brand name is, and getting more big IPs into VR is a good thing. Speaking of which, Attack on Titan was first teased at Upload VR's Winter Showcase. Now we get a full trailer showing some absolutely wild movement. Reminiscent of Sirento or more recently Everslot Invasion, get ready to jump, twist, and rappel across the map. This one will not be for new VR users, but Attack on Titan could hopefully pull some of his fanbase into VR. Bulletstorm is a first-person shooter from 2011 being ported to VR. The game is being developed by Incuvo Games, who made the Quest, PCVR, and PSVR 2 ports of survival game Green Hell. Every aspect of the original game has been translated, which should calm any fears of fans who played the scaled-down Quest port of Green Hell. Assassin's Creed Nexus still exists! We didn't get a trailer, but the game will come to Quest later this year, and we'll get more info at Ubisoft's next showcase in mid-June. This is the game I'm most excited for, Asgard's Wrath 2. Cesaro Games is promising a 60-hour campaign with an expanded combat system, new locations from Norse mythology and ancient Egypt, and a whole lot more. Asgard's Wrath 2 is available for pre-order now for $60. For that price, you'll get the original Asgard's Wrath on PCVR, again it costs $40 itself, a new Quest home environment, and a custom bundle to use in Population 1. Asgard's Wrath is one of my favorite VR games, and this sequel could be one of the biggest VR games of the year. I'm bummed it's releasing this winter and thus won't be a Quest 3 launch title, but I'm still pumped to get my hands on it. That's it for the game announcements. There were 2 notable things missing. First, Grand Theft Auto. I'm gonna be honest with you, I wish Mark Zuckerberg had never announced this game. It comes up every time anyone mentions upcoming Quest games, and people online are already calling this showcase a letdown solely because GTA wasn't shown. There was a disclaimer just before the main show saying if we didn't see a game, rest assured it's still in development and simply not ready to show. I'm betting Meta put that there specifically for Grand Theft Auto. The second omission are any Quest 3 exclusives. I think at September's Meta Connect event, we'll get some Quest 3 exclusives there as the headset is fully revealed, specs and all. If you want my thoughts on the announcement of the Quest 3 and a full breakdown of the teaser video, click the video on the screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.